We gotta have coffee or something here. I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
We need Timmy's. Make it look legit Canadian. Oh, they're Canadian.
Okay.
You have toques?
Okay, so that's going.
Me.
That's too bad.
Here we go, we're live.
Nice.
And,
That was from before already.
yeah, there's this delay.
So is that much of a delay?
Well, that's gonna get confusing.
Yeah. So.
I don't know which screen to watch, left, right. Best part is if I pick my
We
nose
still
now,
look-
2 minutes later
We
I'll see it.
Yeah, we still look like newbies. Nice.
Alright, welcome to. This is number 2 for the Patreon podcast. And I'm just going to cut the volume there. And basically, we're just here to answer questions. We got Rich here. This is Hoogie. You might have seen him in a recent video. And I'm Aaron. I'm behind the scenes. I'm the guy that does all the editing and some of the shooting too. So we're here to answer anyone's questions. We're starting with Patreon supporters. So if you are on Patreon, you are seeing this right now, and if you're not on Patreon and you're seeing this right now, it's because it's not live. So the first little bit here will go just with our Patreon audience, and just see
We got Andrew?
what people are saying. I saw Andrew was asking. Looks like he just commented here. So,
Nice. Yeah, that's the goal. Keep the videos coming.
Yeah.
But on that, I think we're going down to 2 videos.
So we're going to go down to 2 videos. Try that out in January. 2 videos a week.
With like surprise, just bonus videos.
Yeah, we're going to
kinda
try to
show up,
fill
yeah.
out the rest of that with these are happening once a month. We're going
Yeah.
to see if we can do anything else on those off weeks. But just to make things a little easier to manage for now.
Yeah.
And until we grow to a point that we can hit that capacity again. We've been hustling like crazy for the last
Year?
2 years, I guess, almost.
Yeah.
April will be 2 years, but
Yeah.
we've been shooting since January.
I put in so much work.
Yeah. You also get paid the most.
Yeah.
So yeah, we still, all of us have full-time jobs, and we're just doing this on the side. But and it's not so much for me, but it is a lot for Aaron editing. That he edits all day at work, and then he comes home and he edits all our stuff. And basically, for every 15 minutes of video, you got to be putting in at least 10 hours of editing, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's all about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So put that in perspective. So, yeah. So 2 videos, but not the really quick, fast videos. Just like we're gonna try and make them.
Quality.
Yeah, we're
Better.
gonna try to. This will allow us to kind of focus on increasing the quality of our videos.
Yeah.
Try some new things. Focus on growing the channel a little easier.
Yeah.
And hopefully just do a lot more. Overall, in general. So,
Right.
So I'm not sure we have anybody that's watching right now. It says 1, but I think that's just me. So we'll just hold on for that. But if you have questions, and this is kind of a Q&A for anybody that has questions about anything from if you're working on something or if you have any questions about our videos or anything that we're doing. That's what this is for. So.
Yeah.
we'll start.
We
just
kind of wanted to do Patreon more for the technical questions, right?
Yeah,
Because
Patreon is especially helpful. I think just to kind of give, we get so many questions, comments, and everything across all our social media every day.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have a spot that we can say this is where priority comments are, and
which will get answered and
yeah, that's kind of
to the best of our
priority for
abilities,
them.
rather than one-liners or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't mind helping people out, but yeah, it's nice to. It's just getting overwhelming. There's just so many questions.
Yeah.
On Facebook and Twitter, and what's your opinion on this, and how do I fix that, and my truck won't start. I don't know.
Hard to diagnose engines and problems over the internet, anyways.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
But if people tell us the sounds it's making, like a tick, tick, tick.
Or like a rrr,
Yeah, the
yeah.
rrr, that's easily
Yeah,
diagnosable.
yeah. So
Yeah.
send us voice samples
Yeah.
somehow. We can turn that into a video.
Yeah, we know the difference between rrr and rrr.
and Patreon really helps us just do a lot more and kind of make things make sense for us. So it's helping us buy equipment. It's helping us just in general just buy new gear.
Keep the channel going.
Keep
So,
things going. Yeah.
That review I did on the camera, I think I'm on my 4th or 5th camera now. Driven over a couple, lost a couple.
Yeah, just this year, we got through about 3 of these little guys, little cameras. Oh, I don't know.
In the last
One
year,
here.
yeah.
Do they make the otter cases for those ones?
I don't know. You
No.
got no?
It's too bad because you ran over your phone with the otter case with the bulldozer or whatever,
Yeah.
and the only thing that cracked was the case. Your phone
Yeah.
was perfectly fine.
Yeah, and then I
Yeah.
got a new case because I said the case cracked. You're like, well, that's
They don't
weird.
make otter cases for Canon cameras at this point, as far as I can
Maybe
tell.
they should.
They make waterproof housings,
And
but
send us a royalty.
I wasn't able to find the right one. But anyway, but besides all that too, the other side of what we do on DEBOSS Garage is we're partnered with Truth for Teens, and that's kind of also a big reason why Patreon really helps us do that, because
Because I lost my shirt on that Fleet Bastard.
yeah.
So,
Do you want to talk about Truth for Teens for a minute?
Sure. So, Rick Osborne, you can look him up, Truth for Teens. He's Canada's former most wanted, most dangerous, and now turned his life around and really working with kids to try to be in the preventative maintenance rather than, you know what, my kid's hooked on drugs, can you fix him? It's like, no, my son is misbehaving in school, skipping school, I know he's lying to me, can he hang out with you to kind of steer him in the right direction? And that's really what Truth for Teens is, and the time that we're spending in the shop building the cars. So that's a couple hours every other Friday night, but that's a couple hours that really I'm not working and we're hanging out with the kids, and then the kids leave and I got to clean up all the stuff they leave behind. So really figure out 4 hours out of my day that way. But even the car, it's actually DEBOSS Mechanical is the name of my actual company. We pretty well financed the whole car, right? So we sold the car, and we managed, we gave $5,000 to the Truth for Teens charity, which was really nice. And I got some of my money back, but not even close to all of it. So on trade, I took that convertible, but trying to sell the convertible to try and get some money again for cash flow, but it's not selling, so there it sits in the shed out back, right? And I could fix it, it's just going to cost me
But that
money.
was also a really great canvas for you to learn how to do the metal work
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
body work to go to the GTO, to the other cars.
I do it all again, but we're saying the Patreon really helps. So a couple bucks for everybody, then that's not going to us directly. It's kind of, we're sharing it all. So
Yeah, and it's helping us make these cars even better. So that these cars get donated to Truth for Teens.
Yeah.
We get to work on them, but that could help us give it a better paint job and just kind of up the value of these cars.
Right.
And then the idea is,
and the nicer cars get noticed. So when you take a nice car and send it out, right, it's going to go to car shows. And we made an agreement with the gentleman that bought the car. He's going to take it and put sandwich boards in front and whatever to the car shows that he goes to and say this car was built by Truth for Teens and whatever. So that's nice. It's advertising that way again too, right? So.
yeah, and all that kind of once that gets auctioned or sold or
Yep.
whatever, that can go back into Truth Routines even more, and
Yeah.
we don't have to worry about covering our costs and doing any of that.
Yeah. So Rick's got his own shop in Port Colborne now, and he's working out with some other companies are getting involved too. I know somebody's doing the roof on the building, and somebody's hopefully donating a Harley. So they're hoping to build a Harley in there. So that's all kind of in the works yet, but it's coming together really nice. So hopefully we can by springtime there'll be like
Kind of
grease on the floor.
Give another update on
Yeah. So that's
So
actually
you can
going
check
really
out.
good.
We can check out. There's if you go to our YouTube main page, there's a whole section there about Ozzy's garage.
Yep.
And that's Rick. That was his nickname from biker days and even in prison. So that's what they all called him.
Yeah.
His last name is Osborne, and
Real cool guy.
well, I was thinking to call a guy named Osborne. So. But you can check out the last episode in there. We kind of see a little bit of what's going on with his new shop right now. So we'll do an update of that come springtime.
Good.
So let's see if we got. Here's a question on Patreon from Peter. Thanks for taking the time to answer the questions. I own a '89 Jeep Comanche 4.0 5-speed 4x4. Purchased a 4BT NV45 and the adapter bell housing to swap into it. The question is, what transfer case and what front rear axles should I put behind the 4BT? I know the Dana 35 rear axle and the Dana 30 front axle won't stand up to torque forever. Thanks for all the information.
Okay, you want to take this one?
Peter Thompson. I always tell people when they're looking at stuff, some people say cucumbers taste better pickled.
Really, it's what are you after? Are you wanting to just do rock climbing with it, or are you like off-road mudding, or are you driving this to work every day? It really does depend. So, the MV4500 has is the transmission that I would go with. But as for transfer case, I've got the NP241 behind the 6BT, and I'm happy with it. But really, it's whatever you're.
Now, is that a good one? Like, is that just bare minimum, or is that like something that's anything you're doing?
See, I'm not into the rock crawling and that much that I can't give a definite answer on that, unfortunately.
Depends on your budget too.
Right. So far, every build that's been coming in the shop is keep the budget low, work with what you got.
Yeah.
So, the 241, I think the NP transfer cases, they've held up great from what I've seen so far. So simple to rebuild. You can get lots of the parts for it, and then if you want to go bigger axles, well, sky's the limit when your budget is. But basically, I know when we rebuilt the 60s and the 85, it's about $1,000 per axle by the time you're all done, between seals and bearings and kingpins and all that fun stuff. So yeah, it's whatever the budget is. So
Cool.
And I've kind of learned this time and time again too. You build what you love, not to make money off of it. Do not hope that out.
yeah.
Ever.
But is it are you in any clubs to go rock climbing, Peter, or is it mudding, or what is it actually for that would actually help? What tire size are you running and whatever else?
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah,
if you get this, leave a comment again, and we'll follow up. But
I might checking out the rock climbing sometime too. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
there's a few YouTubers that are doing it. I know Leaping Jeep. He comes kind of close to us, where he goes annually. That's sometime.
Okay.
I think it was September, October. He was doing that this year.
He wouldn't. Was he going farther north? There's where we go quadding for the September trip. There's a whole bunch.
Oh.
There's all rock there.
Yeah.
And that weekend, every weekend, there's always rock climbing there too.
Yeah.
So we've wanted to videotape that and start talking to those guys, but for some reason there's a stupid rivalry between quadding and Jeeps, and they hate each other. And I'm like, why? Our quads are too fast and they're ripping through our campsites. It's like, well, you're camping in the middle of the road, but like I want to get to know them and chat with them. But that's it's the Bunny Trail Road, and it's Ardbeg. If anybody knows that. Yeah.
In Ontario.
Yeah, in Ontario, they have really good rock climbing there. I'd like to get involved in, like, to chat with them and interview them, but all their quadding guys are like, nope, don't talk to them, we gotta go. So, whatever.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the GTO, and because you guys got some time over the holidays to work on that. We threw a picture on Patreon.
Yep.
For some of you guys to see.
Yeah, so lined up the doors 100% now. Really happy with it. There's just a tiny gap at the driver's door at the top where I'm going to weld in the top of the door and just bring that gap in. There's no other way to do it. But really happy with the gaps now, so we can weld the floor and the panel solid, but it was basically just grabbing all the pieces.
Yeah, and it was so good to see the car coming together and all the parts going on there, all the jewelry, which unfortunately all has to be replaced, all this thin stuff, because it's been banged, dinged up. So it's going to be a pretty big order through Ames Performance in the next week or so. And Ames Performance, every time I talk to you, I say, please give us free parts. It hasn't happened yet, but I would really, really, really like to get free parts for the 67 GTO.
And keep in mind that our dollar's dropping, so...
Oh yeah, things are getting
so that sucks for us, but
be worth it in the end.
Right.
Cool car.
Right, so buying it as somebody else's project, basically what we did over the holidays was lay all the pieces out, assemble the whole front end, put the windows back in it, make sure that the windows roll up to the top, make sure that all the gaps and stuff are still right, that when you close like the quarter window on the door, that it doesn't hit the trim coming up, all those finicky stuff, and to make sure that all the holes are where they're supposed to be when we screw and clip the trim in, so that when it's painted we don't have to drill new holes or whatever. So it's basically assemble the whole car now, and then see what we're missing, put in our order, take it all back apart again, weld it, then I got to pull the front clip off again, take the body off, paint the bottom of it, paint the inside of it, then put the whole car back together again without the trim, and then it's going off the body. So then a Duramax came in with head gasket, so it kind of got on hold a little bit. I was hoping to do the GTO while I was waiting for the heads to get machined on the Duramax, and then another Cummins came in that I gotta fix another leak on. So that's gonna go in between, so I gotta shove the GTO back again until next week, but yeah, it is what it is. We'll get there.
Okay.
It looks great.
And
So,
if I haven't said so before, Ames Performance, quality products, fair prices.
Check out Ames Performance. We're not sponsored. This is not a sponsored. You have to say that because
We're not sponsored. I'm just trying to get free parts.
We're trying to be sponsored. All right, cool. Let's talk about this plow truck. We've been hitting at this plow truck swap. It's a little bit nuts. Why are you doing this?
well, so
what are you doing first, and why?
Okay, so last year I sold my tractor, and all I was using it for was plowing the driveway. So it sat around all summer. I really didn't have much use for it. It was a good tractor, so there's just money sitting there. So sold it, bought the plow truck, bought it cheap. I bought the plow, and they said it's $1,500 for the plow, or it's $1,500 for the plow and the truck. So I'm like, well, the truck was pretty well free. So I just took it home and drove it, and plowed all last winter with it, but it started knocking, and we made that video where it's knocking like crazy. And it started where it would only start to knock after about 10 minutes of driving, and now as soon as you turn the engine on or fire it up, it would start knocking. So I'm like, it depends on what kind of winter we're having. It's pretty mild so far, but nothing worse than having it sit in the driveway with a rod out the side of the block, and then having to tow it inside and not being able to get to work, and my wife or whatever. So we had Rick's Camaro. Rick had a 79. Was it 79 or 78? I keep
79,
so
yeah.
79 Camaro with a 350. That was all done up, I guess. So it had 305 heads, which kind of raised the compression on it, and he went over it. I guess it had bearings and a bunch of work done to the valves, and the guy bought the Camaro but didn't want the engine. So there was Cody Cody in Dunnville, he wanted the engine, and I offered it to him, but then he never came and got it. So I'm like, well, we did a burnout with the plow truck in the shop. Took the last of the shut it off right before it seized so that I could still get the torque converter bolts, and then we threw that 350. So we threw a 79 350 in a 92 plow truck, and it sounds mean, like we redid all the wiring. It looks mint underneath the hood. When you pop the hood, it's got a nice air cleaner and everything's painted nice, and tons of power now. I gotta fix some exhaust leak on it yet. I just kind of jammed the Y pipes on underneath, and but really, while I was doing it, the truck actually looks in really good shape. Like, the floors are all there. It's got 460,000 clicks on the ticker, but the truck is actually in mint shape. So I'm like, it's definitely worth doing putting the swap in there. I don't know if I'll ever put it on the road or not. It's not great on. It costs like all the tires as much as you want. So yeah, that truck's done and it sounds great. So
it's not done. The other day we were driving back to Richards, and sure enough there was a hot tub on the side of the road for free, and I said, what would be better than a hot tub plow truck with the exhaust going up and through the water to heat it, so we could be hanging out in the back in the hot tub while we're just playing in the driveway.
And this is why we have Patreon, to do Ozzy's garage and to put hot tubs in the plow
and
truck.
it'll never fit. It's basically going to be putting it on top of the box and like 5 guys jumping on top of it until it goes in there. But it sounds great. Hot tub plow truck.
Oh, you guys are up for that, let us know.
It just rolls off the tongue. Hot tub plow truck.
Yeah, absolutely. Peter Thompson's responded here, so we'll just take this question. I use the Jeep to haul dirt bikes to races. The 4.0 is great, but it doesn't have the power to climb the hills when driving to get to the races. I'm also a master certified technician at a Chrysler dealer, so I'm a Cummins fanatic. So I would say I want to do the swap to improve fuel mileage when driving to work, but also get the torque to climb the hills when I'm doing the dirt bike trailer. So,
alright, the nice thing about the 4VT is the crazy torque that it puts out at the low RPM, so I don't think it even really matters what transfer case you put in to get your low. It's going to climb it. I know with the 6BT, I know it was a 6BT, but I had the Silverado and I had a 24 foot triaxle trailer behind it, and I got all that glass. I don't even know how heavy that was, but I was way overweight, and climbing up a mountain, the Cummins just kind of chugged along. Couldn't grab the next gear, but it just keeps going. So I put the 4BT in it, and honestly, the NV4500, grab whatever gear works, whatever transfer case you put behind it, you still get bull low, and it's gonna hold up. The 4BT itself, like stock, is 105 horse, and then you can up it by a fuel pin and governor springs, and I don't know how crazy you want to get if you want to get in injectors and stuff, but you're still only gonna put like 200 horse out with 450 foot-pounds of torque. So I don't think whatever you're going to put behind it is going to get destroyed by this 4BT. If you put a 6BT in it, I think it'd be a different story, but just a couple dirt bikes in the back, basically whatever you can get your hands on at a reasonable price, it's going to do what you want it to do. And that's my honest opinion. The 4BT in the Tahoe, the 4L60, the 4L60s aren't known to be big power horses either. And the transfer case behind it, stock, we've pulled some pretty heavy stuff with that too. I've pulled 15, and my total weight's been like 16,000 pounds, and it pulled it just fine. And the 4L60 hasn't blown up yet, so I'm sure the NV4500 is gonna hold it just fine too. So yeah.
Might be controversial. Did Chrysler not just lose the contract for Cummins?
Yeah.
So he's gonna want to keep playing on his Jeep as much as he can if he's a Cummins fanatic.
It's not the different stories about that. I don't know if anybody else knows exactly what happened, but I know that.
I just know rumors.
Well, yeah, no, it's that Cummins is bought out by Fiat, so it's a Fiat motor in there. It's an Italian motor in there. So Fiat makes their own engine over in Europe. So they said, well, just throw our engine in the North American truck. But yet you have to rebrand the whole truck saying, well, this Fiat engine is going to be better than the Cummins version because Cummins didn't build the right engine for us. So that's baloney. You just tell Cummins what you want and they'll build it for you. So I don't know. Not.
Yeah.
I've heard that those Cummins. I don't know if you've seen it at the dealership, Pete, about the camshaft being a press fit in those Fiats, and then the cam gear slipping and grenading the engines. That's kind of what I keep hearing about these Dodge diesels.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know.
We're gonna go live
Yep.
in a little bit here. Got a couple things.
Wait, we haven't been live?
Oh,
We're
no,
live
sorry.
to Patreon, but now we're gonna go to
That's my
YouTube.
best material.
Yeah, we've been private for about 25 minutes, so we'll just switch over now. Let me just get over here.
I'm gonna grab some more water.
Okay. We're still live.
So are people going to see the original 25 minutes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
But once he gets back, we'll go live for everybody else. So,
Everybody.
yeah.
And Peter, still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so Peter, good website also is 4btswaps.com. Basically, if you've got a question, it's probably been answered there by 30 guys like me, or probably more experienced in the Jeep area. So check them out, and then there's also Facebook has a group too, 4BT Swaps on Facebook. Check them out too. So they're all really good guys. They're all really helpful to help, and the more communities that you're involved in to ask questions, the more answers you're gonna get too. So
Real cool project. I would like to see some pictures once you're done.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And if you're up for it, even head over to our Drive Tribe. So drivetribe.com / I don't know if it does slash yet, but DEBOSS Garage on Drive Tribe. And share your project there. You can even build a little gallery or an article and just kind of detail out your build process and just tell us about it there, and we'll share that across all our social media, and that goes for anybody. If you've got a build, you can check that out. And Brandon Andrew Leamer.
Oh, so is that the Andrew that's on Patreon? Different Andrew.
I think it might be. Yeah, it is.
Nice.
Yeah, so he did it with an Escalade. He put a 4BT in an
Yeah,
Escalade.
right on.
So everybody needs to go check this one out.
Yeah.
NV3500. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's on our Drive Tribe, so check it out.
Basically the same mounts. I love everything about it. So you must have used the clutch pedal from a
Silverado.
4.3 Silverado, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of wishing I would have went that way rather than put my pedal on, because I just don't have enough travel to make it 100%. It's fine, but it's not something that I would want to sell, because it's just not 100%. But yeah, right on.
Yeah.
And how are you doing your speedo, Andrew?
And
And
see if Andrew's on.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll go, so just for everybody that's just joining us now, we're answering questions. If you got questions about builds or about our channel or anything for Rich, then ask away. We're taking questions live, and we're just giving project updates. In the meantime, if you scroll back in DVR and just kind of watch the first 25 minutes of this, that's what we've been talking about, really, and answering questions from our Patreon members. So if you're on Patreon, we've been helping them out. They get priority for this. This is an exclusive for some of our Patreon members that opt for it. They get kind of priority access to kind of ask any questions for Rich for help with their builds and just general Q&A. So, let's see. Okay, so we got another comment from Peter, so we'll just answer that.
Yeah.
We've replaced multiple of the 3-liter diesels, which is made in Italy. not only the cams have been going bad, but the fuel filters have been coming apart, which destroys the injectors, which in turn destroys the motor. We've been taking the cabs off to repair or replace the motor. Long story short, Chrysler has changed the fuel filter interval from 30,000 miles to 15,000 miles to 10,000 miles, which they would have stuck with Cummins. Yeah.
They must have seen how often should we do an oil change video. Yeah. How much is an oil change and a fuel filter change for like a regular service? What is the cost of that? I know my brother-in-law bought the SRT 8 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and he said his first oil change, he's got like 0 W50 weight oil, something like that, and he said, I got my first bill for my first oil change. I went home and washed it because he goes, I realized I gotta keep this thing for the rest of my life. But just wondering what an oil change costs for like a Power Stroke or a Duramax. You're looking at around $200 mark. Just wondering what the eco diesel's going for.
Canadian.
Yeah, Canadian. And we get screwed and everything, oil and filters and all those parts.
Okay, we've got a couple new people here. John asks, any big Cummins swap builds coming up?
So I'm talking to the guy that has the big white Dodges that hauls the campers from down south. He's got that 1.8 million kilometer truck, and he's
million-mile.
Yeah,
Dodge,
and so he's looking at a 30s Dodge truck or a 40s Dodge panel wagon that he wants to put on a 1-ton frame dually and put the Cummins drivetrain in that. So we're hashing out some details with him. But for now, I think I'm pricing a job for an 06 F350 that has a perfectly good running Power Stroke in it, but he wants a Cummins in it anyway because he thinks the Power Stroke's going to let him down. So working out some details with that. But over Christmas and that, I've been so busy, got to get back to him too. But those are the only things really in the work. So it's getting the Mercedes done for now and getting the Silverado done. Those are two big projects I really want to get off my shoulders. And
GTO.
And then go from there. And GTO. Yeah, I'm thinking paying customers, sorry. Well, the Silverado's not paying, so, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah. And then Vacuum asks, would I be making a mistake by using a Turbo 400 behind the 480?
No, the Turbo 400 is basically the predecessor of the 4L80, and it's a good, solid engine. Transmission. It basically was the transmission to have before any of the electronic crap came out, right? Simple, and it'll hold up no problem. Especially to 4BT, no problem at all. You can stick a 400 behind a 600 or a 6BT, sorry.
Oh.
But not 800 behind a 600.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Mercedes swap. That's
so we're gonna get into the
everybody's
wiring
curious
soon.
about that. Getting into wiring, so
So now it's the wiring, flashing the computer. So there's a guy in town who's gonna do that. We're gonna do that in the next couple weeks and start tearing the old harness apart and figuring out where the computer's gonna go. I need to just finish up the ABS in the corner, the hydraulic power, steering reservoir, and the overflow tank, and then once that corner's kind of filled in the engine bay, then we can. I think I'm gonna send the whole car out to get the exhaust work done in town. Get the new exhaust front to back, then get it back, pull the engine out. I got all the pieces for the engine. I got the camshaft, the lifter, the springs, head gaskets, studs, all that fun stuff. Build the engine, and then build the harness with the engine on the stand with the computer under the hood somewhere. So it'll be computer next, and then it'll go to the dyno shop from there, and then back into the Mercedes with everything else finished up. So drive shaft. So
it's gonna be one scary grocery getter.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be okay though. For everything and I think we're leaving the 4L60 in there. One of those things I talked to the owner Neil, and basically I know that I've had good luck with the 4L60s. I know that other people haven't. But basically, we can take apart a perfectly good transmission and rebuild it, or you can take a junk one out and rebuild it. So if it holds up, it holds up. If it doesn't, then we'll rebuild it then. But basically, we're not putting a stall converter in it. It's a stock torque converter. So it's gonna have a little bit of lag until the boost kicks in anyway. So unless he hooks it, I can't see it. This isn't a guy that's gonna be doing burnouts every weekend.
A heavy car.
It is, which doesn't help, but it's when it hooks that it gets into trouble, and really it's once a month, kind of just to put your foot into it, have some fun with it. With the rest of it is kind of a daily driver, so.
And I say this all the time about cars. It's like a gun. You gotta respect it. If you don't, it is going to teach you one bad lesson.
But what else has he got? He's got the Mazda, right?
He's got the twin turbo RX-7 and a Mercedes and.
Yeah, so he I'm sure he knows what he's doing, but at the same time, everything's so expensive in Canada here. It's like, I can burn off another set of tires, but there goes another $400. So.
Until allowance time comes.
Yeah. So.
We got another question here from David. Putting together a 54 Chevy pickup, 3100. Has the stock 235 with Muncie 3-speed. Had some seen some overdriven from 60s trucks that should fit, but not sure if it'll fit with the original drive shaft.
Most likely it won't fit the drive shaft, but honestly any good drive shaft shop will make you a new drive shaft regardless. So if the truck's been sitting for a while, it's going to need U-joints anyway, and like a typical drive shaft shop should be able to make you a one-piece shaft for like $300, and that's Canadian again. So if you're in the States, just over $200. Go with that overdrive for sure, and don't worry about the drive shaft. They make them new every day. So the drive shaft for the 85 was $600 because it was a two-piece. The drive shaft for the Silverado was $300, and I'm still waiting to see if my drive shaft shop can match the 4L60 to a Mercedes rear end. So my shops hate me when I walk in. They're like, "So this is what I'm doing." Oh, go away! Can't we just sell you a wheel bearing? How about an air filter? Have you changed your cabin air filter lately? Why do you come up to this with this shit? I'm putting the Cummins in here. Oh, I'm putting an LS in there. Oh, I'm putting the 360 in the Studebaker. I need the gauges to work.
You know what I think is cool? Everyone is coming up with really cool projects on here.
Yeah.
Coming up with like a 93 Mercury Topaz or an 85K car. This is all
I want to
really
see
cool
these,
stuff.
like every one of these. If guys go to Drive Tribe and share these pictures, because not only is it cool to see, like seeing other people's rides really gets the motivation going to finish your own, right?
Yeah. And for the DEBOSS Garage Open House 2017, for everyone to show up to that too.
Please don't everybody show up.
Everybody show up.
Well, yeah, we should actually talk about plans, kind of potential plans, to see if kind of test the waters with that. But Peter on Patreon has another comment here. Saying don't deal with the money a lot being in the shop, but they tank 10.5 quarts of synthetic 5W40. I may be mistaken, but I believe that it is 129 American for the oil and filter.
Yeah. So basically the same, couple $100 for an oil change. Where it used to be like, you hope you can do an oil change for $40-50, and so the fuel savings, and then the emissions crap. They had the EGR cooler fail on that Massey. I was like, I put a 4BT in it. Yeah.
I've got some more comments. Hi, Skylar. David asks, planning for, just following up, planning for a daily driver, so we'll make it happen. Thanks for your channel efforts and everything.
Yeah, no problem, Dave.
John coming back, ever thought about lifting the Silverado? If so, how high, tire size?
So not originally, because my wife is 5'2", and she said you can put like the next size tires on it, but that's it. And if
On the Silverado?
On the Silverado. That's back when that was our daily, right?
The Ontario regs are changing, if they haven't changed already, for how far up you can go over the wheelbase. Though, right?
Yeah. So that all changed now since the last our stupid government, and now it used to be just MTO, which is the Ministry of Transportation, got to pull you over and say, well, your vehicle's not safe for pulling your plates. But now they gave the police officers the same rights to they take a weekend course on how a vehicle is safe and how it's not, and they have the rights to pull your plates too. So it's not only the MTO, which is probably one officer for every, I would say 300, 400 police officers. Now you've got all the cops that are going after it too. So
yeah, so if it's too high, you get pulled.
yeah, so no more lift kits. The lift kits are not legal in our area anymore. So as of right now, I won't be lifting the truck because I don't need to get pulled over.
If we get an American customer that wants to lift
Yeah,
the
we can
truck,
build whatever you want, but then
Yeah.
again, it sucks. I'd much rather drive to the States and do it in a parking lot somewhere because we have to. There really is no company that makes any of this stuff for us in Canada, so we import everything from the States, and then the shipping and the brokerage just kills us, which is why there's really what we're doing is in the wrong part of the country, which is why I like making my own parts. Because yeah, I can buy engine mounts to throw a Cummins in an F-350, but I can make them cheaper, even though it takes me longer because yeah, we pay so much. So
TCCTX2 asks what bell housing and transmission you need for a 4BT.
so it's whatever adapter plate you put on the back of the 4BT. So the 4BTs, they came with they came in the Dodge and the Fords and the GM Cube vans way back in the 90s. So it's whatever bell housing's on the back of it. So they really go hand in hand, and you can put whatever you want on there. So the 4BT that we put in the logging machine had just a normal truck bell housing that actually held the torque converter for the Clark logging machine. So it's all universal, but it's whatever adapter plate is on the back of the Cummins. So.
Cody, are you in Ontario? Elvis Cop is a dick. He's been
Yeah, Elvis. Everybody knows Elvis.
Oh, you know?
And I was gonna say Elvis, but actually Elvis got Elvis pulled over garbage there in Old Brown, and that's why I had to really push hard for the 85 crew cab because he had his plates pulled on Old Brownie there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Elvis' family. And is Elvis back in town? He was gone for a while because I think all the complaints, but then he came back, right? Who is that? Who said that?
Cody Powers.
Cody. Yeah, Cody. Is okay, yeah, so Elvis is back.
Elvis isn't dead, he just went home.
Do you know Elvis?
I know Elvis, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And yeah, you
In case he's watching, lovely guy. Lovely guy. Not a bad thing to say.
So Hoogie actually works in the same building as he does, so you can't say too much.
Yeah.
And once in a while, Hoogie has disgruntled clients who he might need Elvis. Anyway,
You should convince the guy to swap an International DT360.
yeah, actually, I never understood why the 360 or the 466 was more popular than they were, but that was what was in the service truck, and it's a great engine. It's basically a bigger version of the Cummins, but I understand it weighs more. But there's nothing wrong with the DT466. But you really don't hear those internationals being swapped in that often. Basically, it's just a cool factor. If you pop your hood and it's an international, well, international made the Power Stroke, so it's like, well, it's just a different version of it or whatever. But if you pop the hood and it's got a Cummins in it, it's just like, yeah, that's cool. So. It's partially the reliability factor, and then it's like 50-50 between, yeah, I got something cool and unique, great.
Okay.
So.
Cody's in Dunnville. I guess you know Cody, right?
I stopped him with his boat.
Alex asks, hey guys, I'm cleaning up a Chrysler 825 and was looking into replacing the pinion seal. Since they use a crush sleeve, can I count the threads and mark the nut, or should I just get a shop to do it?
Yes.
This is like I wouldn't count the threads because the bearings wear too, so there is a proper procedure to do that. So if you don't have the actual manual or whatever to tell you exactly how to set that, you can take your crown and pinion out pretty quick.
or it makes noise, or really it's not worth it. So for the cost of a shop rate to do it properly with the right manual, then at least you know it's done. And if they screw up, they can pay for it. So that's my advice.
Could I put a Cummins in a Buick?
You can put a Cummins in anything, just like you can put an LS in anything. It's if you've got a good enough imagination and you've got enough money, you can do whatever you want.
Why? Why would you do this?
Cool factor again.
It's a Buick. What kind of Buick? Are we talking about a Grand National? Unless it's a Grand National, I don't know why you would do this.
But it's one of these things. I'm gonna do it because I can. And really that's the advantage we have of living in Western culture is we have welders, we have tools, we have internet, and we have the money to be able to do whatever we want. So do it and have some fun with it. Why not?
I don't know. Is this your mother's Buick LeSabre that you inherited?
The four-door.
I don't get this. It better be the four-door.
Yeah, if it's front wheel drive, it's gonna be tricky. You have to put in a tunnel and a rear diff out or something. But.
You know what? Do it and bring it to the open house in 2017. I want to see this Buick Cummins.
And put it on Drive Tribe.
Yeah.
They got Cummins in a Charger. They got Cummins in old muscle cars. They got Cummins in
85
Camaros.
Regal. Okay.
Yeah, but weren't the Regals supercharged?
No.
No, some of the Regals were.
No.
Was it? I guess you don't have the supercharger.
The Grand Nationals were turboed and everything.
Right, they were
The
turbos,
Regals
but
were
I'm
just,
sure the Regals were
were just an
supercharged. There were some. Google it. There's some Regals with superchargers. If
I mean-
it's supercharged, don't take the supercharger out.
I mean, you definitely got it from your grandmother. Definitely.
Robert wants to know complaint you do on an EGR delete on my 05 LLY. Good idea, or would you recommend I leave alone? It lives in Canada.
Yeah, so going back to the Elvis thing is I don't know of him personally, but I know that somebody got pulled over that just did a full delete on a Cummins. They pulled his plates on the spot, gave him an $8,000 fine for not having the emission stuff on there. Went to court, they dropped it to $3,600, and he could not get his plates back until he proved that all the emission stuff was back on it again. So I know customers that leave the EGR in but bypass it, so it looks like it's still there but it's not functioning. We all know that the EGR chokes up the engine and if it leaks. And I said it in a couple comments on that Massey's. I do not understand why they don't have some sort of sensor in there to just say, hey, I detect a little bit of moisture, shut her down. So, I don't know. I can't tell you to delete it. If it was my truck, I don't want to risk an $8,000 fine. I know that. And I know it's getting stickier and stickier. And if you're in Canada, you know, the government that's in there, they need their money because they've promised all these billions of dollars to everybody. So wherever they can get a fine, they're going to make it stick.
We do have the best looking prime minister in the planet right now.
Yeah, but fashionable isn't practical.
I see someone's asking, does everyone watch Stefan? Yes. He doesn't know it right now, but we are watching him as we speak.
Yeah. Actually, he's tied and gagged in the corner there. We won't tell you why.
He knows why.
Is that Stefan?
I think it is.
Is it Stefan?
I think this is Stefan. I think Stefan is asking where's Stefan. Hold on.
I should feel Stefan should know where Stefan is.
I don't know.
Stefan?
Yeah, this has to.
Stefan didn't wish me a Happy New Year, so I said, screw it. I'm not inviting him to the... He's welcome to comment, but... The Stingray, you want to take this one?
Oh, I'd love to talk about the Stingray.
That piece of junk.
So, 1969, Corvette had a beautiful Stingray. It had beautiful chrome accents, a beautiful stub nose end, and then in the 70s, they just made it ugly. Ugly turbine wheels, ugly rear end, ugly 70s interior, 8 tracks, just ugly car.
But it's practical, right? It's comfortable.
It's not practical because I can't even get into this thing. It takes me 10 minutes to get into it, 20 minutes to get out of it, and it's, what a 350 motor?
Yeah.
What was
Putting
it?
out 186 horsepower.
Yeah, emission requirements in the 70s were insane. It is the worst car ever made. Aside from the 85 Buick Regal.
So I have a 79 Stingray in the shop. If you've seen it in the shop tour, that is Rick's new ride. Somebody donated that.
Because they couldn't sell it.
So I got to put a floor in it and just do the welding, the technical stuff to it, and then it's going to Rick's shop actually, and they're going to finish up with the kids as soon as the shop's ready. So they're going to paint it and redo the seats in it at least. He's slowly getting the engine bay looking really nice, and then that'll be his ride for the summer. So I think the Dakota is on its way out. And if anybody's seen the video on the first Ozzy's garage, that's his 2004 SRT. Yeah, it's SRT 59. I think that one will be coming up for sale if you want that car with a little bit of history. That'd be a nice ride for somebody actually. There is a lot of life left in it. There's just a lot of things wrong with it too. Just the little stuff. The heater blower keeps popping those resistor and little stuff like that. That he says, yeah, we're gonna go on to something new. So yeah.
Okay. Robert Keith asks, contemplating. Oh wait, no, I said that one. Where are we now? Nancy wants to know, can you clear the codes on my 09 Saturn?
So, the cams. Yes, I can. The cam sensor on. The cam sensor is gone on our 09 Saturn, and I have to say, okay, this is why. This is another reason why I am a GM guy, is that we bought this car in 2010 with 110,000 K on it. So somebody put 100,000 kilometers on it in 1 year. There was 60,000 miles roughly. And we bought it. I did the exhaust manifold on it, which I made the video on, and I did the front wheel bearing and just brakes and tires and a light, and that's it. I haven't touched the car. I haven't done anything to it. We're at 330,000 kilometers on it now. So we bought the car for 10 grand. It was the best vehicle that we've ever owned, but now the cam sensor's gone, so the engine light's on. And now her remote start doesn't work because the engine light's on, so she can't remote start it. So she's got to get in a cold vehicle in the morning. So, and I meant to do that today actually, but the Duramax ended up taking a lot longer than I thought, and then I had to work on a Sebring, so I didn't get to it. So, but I will get your engine light off in your Saturn. I have the capabilities. I will do that.
Nancy is Mrs. DEBOSS.
Yeah.
Sam Nichols, Cummins or LS in the Trans Am. Need to replace the stock 403 Oldsmobile sooner than later. Could I even get comparable speed out of 4BT? Saw a cool Camaro by a guy from Shy Diesel.
Yeah, so the 4BT you can, but you have to tune it to the gills, and it's not fun to drive anymore. So smoke's like a banshee, and it actually takes a lot of money to get there, and LS is actually a lot cheaper to do, because it's basically buy the engine, flash the ECU, get it running, cheap fuel pump, and you've got a reasonably reliable car. With a bigger budget, you can make it really reliable. The 4BT is really cool, but I don't think it's really practical, not for something that you're gonna drive daily. You can get it. You can make it a reliable daily, but it won't have the power that I think you want it to. So.
70s requirements is what makes the Trans Am so slow, like the 180 horsepower slow.
Yeah.
Okay. Border Freak. Did anyone from the Dragon's Den or Shark Tank make a deal with you about DEBOSS?
I don't know. I signed a contract, and I'm not allowed to say. Am I allowed to talk about it or not? So what happened was we can.
They're not gonna watch this.
No, they're not gonna watch this. So
We're how far in? We're an hour in almost.
Or an hour. Yeah, they gave up a long time ago. So yeah, I made a deal with Weckerly actually. So what happened was, when you go on, they actually tell you what to say, and we didn't agree. We didn't actually see eye to eye. They actually made me say some stuff that I didn't want to say at all, which wasn't true, and I know other people that have had the same experience. and I think I was supposed to go on as one of the guys that was supposed to fail epically because I asked for almost 400,000 and I didn't have any sales yet at that point. So, but I managed to talk my way through it, and I do have a pro version, like a bunch of ideas for a pro version later. Watching a lot of the Dragon's Den episodes beforehand, basically they want a product, they want a patent, they want sales, they want a next product, and then they want an out. So for the pro version, I wanted the tape boss to be, and my patents do cover all this, is that I wanted to be able to communicate with your phone, so that you could talk to Siri on your phone, and Siri, you can ask it to do calculations for you, do your rise and your fall, say for your stairs or your valleys or your hips or anything like that, do calculations for that where you can ask it and then Siri will spit it back in your ear. I wanted to have the microphone to be in hearing protection, and then the speakers in hearing protection, and then a mic on a cord in between, and then basically the tape boss on your tape measure would just be a remote to communicate back and forth to your tape boss and your phone, and then be able to communicate to other tape bosses on the same job site. So the guy on the roof cutting the wood would be able to send all the measurements down to the guy down below cutting the plywood. So once I started telling them all these ideas, then they really got, oh, okay, well, the guy does kind of know what he's talking about. But again, you're talking to a bunch of people that made their living sitting behind a desk. So like the one girl, the Michelle girl, didn't even understand what I was doing in the first place. She's like, why not just use your phone? And the one lady that actually had a construction crew, she's like,
well, hold on. Why not use your phone?
Why not use my phone is because it's expensive. That's the whole idea why I needed tape boss. Because when I was running a crew, I'd have to tell everybody to leave their phones in the truck, because as soon as they go around the corner, they're on their Facebook and their Tinder and whatever else, and they don't get any work done whatsoever. It's like basically you just have to babysit them and like stop, put your freaking phone away. But then you can't get a hold of them when they're on the other, like if you're on the other side of the house or whatever else, right? And then it's break time and everybody's just on their phones. So she's like, well, why can't you just hire responsible people? Well, this is Canada and it's like minus 20 and then it's above 30. Nobody wants to work in construction. So the guys that you get, basically a good employee was just somebody who showed up sober and on time in the morning, and that was it. Yeah. So by leaving your phone in the truck but still being able to communicate through the tape boss, that kind of got through to a couple of them. Michelle was out from the beginning.
Yeah. And the time saving factor,
right?
Like you're talking about having a device that's already on your tape measure.
Right. It's in your hand. You your buttons are right there. So I made the deal with Weckerly, but then their out was, so they do their due diligence and they try to find ways to get out. And basically their out was, the way big box stores work is they don't buy a product, but you rent shelf space. So if you go to Home Depot saying, I have a great product, I want you to sell it, they said, sure, we'll sell it, give us 100,000 of them. And then you pay us to hang it on the shelf, and then you don't get paid unless the product crosses the checkout counter. So, and then if it doesn't sell, they're like, well, you know what, you're taking up too much space, we're not making our commission on the sale, so take back all your product. Now you're stuck with 100,000 units, right? Which is smart for like Walmart and Home Depot and that, because they really don't own any of the inventory that's on their shelf. It's owned by guys like me. So their out was saying, we don't work with any company that does that. And I said, well, that's great, because Home Hardware isn't like that. They buy everything in bulk. They have main distribution centers, and then they ship it to the individual stores. And then they're like, yeah, we're still not going to work with you. Mm. So nothing came of it. It fizzled out. But I think, we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll go again.
It's on store shelves.
It's on store shelves in Home Hardware. And there's a couple
Canada.
Canada, but it's got a couple irons in the fire going. We got our costs down, so now we can. Originally, we were getting them made in Canada, and it's just way too expensive. So, basically, things are going to happen about middle of the summer. Things are really going to start happening. So, yeah, it does take a long time. I don't regret it, but it's a whole new area again that I really don't know anything about. So just making it up as I go, right? So, and so far so good. So,
what's your favorite muscle car?
So, It used to be first generation Camaro Firebird, and then I had one, and it's like it's kind of a small girly car. So I gotta say GTO, which is why we got it.
Yeah. After that, it'd be 68 Fastback Mustang.
Yeah. I had a Mustang. I had a '69 Mustang, and I lost my shirt on that one, so I kind of gotten ill feel. I bought a piece of junk.
You bought a 6-cylinder Mustang.
I bought the worst possible Mustang you could buy, and it's like tainted me forever.
Baby turd green.
Yeah, but as for I for some reason I'm not. Yeah, I like the Pontiacs. I had a '68 Firebird. I really liked it, but I'm really looking forward to the GTO.
Yeah,
and the GTO was the original first muscle car.
Yeah,
anyways.
and now that there is no Pontiac anymore, they're all the more iconic.
Right.
Know?
Right.
Here we go. Farmvideos.net. I did a 3-inch straight pipe on mine. It's 292 straight 6.
Yes, you did.
Awesome.
Yeah, nice.
Eric O is here.
Who?
From South Main Auto.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah. You didn't ask. He retracted his question, but good to see you though. Hello.
How's it going?
Bob asks, graduating high school this year, live on a farm, always worked on tractors and trucks, want to get into diesel mechanics. Any tip? Where should you start?
Exactly what you're doing. Start on a farm and surround yourself with diesels, but basically just any shop. So I'm at a disadvantage because I'm working myself out of a job, and I am actually way behind in the industry already because I don't have schooling every couple of years to tell you the new updates on transmissions and GPS and all the stuff for that really I am behind. So don't work for a guy like me, and I told Aaron that too when he worked for me, is it's a cool job, but the second you graduate school, you're behind in the trade. So really a dealership is the place to go. And just an apprenticeship. Start, knock on the door, say I want to work for you, and if you don't get it right away, just be persistent, show up with a coffee and meet him at his truck when he pulls in the morning, or just say, listen, can I just sweep the floors or whatever. It sucks, you're going to start there anyway, but that's a good way to get in. Aaron is excited about the stuff that we're doing in the shop, but unfortunately he'll be going to school for an apprenticeship, but he'll basically be teaching me, so well, on all the new stuff.
Yeah.
It's basically like, well, my brother drives a 2-year-old, what's the green tractor? It's getting late. My head's shutting off. Is it Fendt? No, it's a Fendt. Fendt? Is that it?
Okay.
I can't even think.
Fendt, yeah.
But I wouldn't even know how to start the thing. So like everything's done by hand. There's like his feet don't even touch the pedals anymore. Everything's done with his 2 hands, and that's it, right? So yeah, work for a dealer.
Are we making any more videos with Rick? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, definitely. So
Yeah.
we've been trying actually to. So he wasn't.
He's still coming up like every Friday.
I see him
Every
at
other
least once a
Friday.
week. Yeah. So he spent a pile of time on his Corvette over the Christmas holidays too, and a lot of things are happening with him. We're hoping to get his shop going by the springtime, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going together with that. They also the Kingston Penitentiary in Kingston. They're giving tours there, and he was incarcerated there for a while, so he's had some good stories there. I think he was part of the riot that was there too. And we want to get a tour of Kingston Pen with him, and we're just trying to see if we can get some ins there somehow to get kind of behind the scenes. Yeah, because they're going to tear it down at some point, but we want to talk to the higher ups and go where other people aren't allowed to go, and kind of make some good videos on that yet. So definitely, we should do another Reddit thing with him sometime too.
Yeah, another Ask Me Anything.
Yeah, that one.
Check out the Ask Me Anything on Reddit with Rick Osborne.
Yeah.
You can find it on our website.
Yep.
But there's a lot. He goes. we were on like the page 4 or page 5 of the most
Popular.
Most popular Ask Me Anything on Reddit. So that was a lot of fun.
He beat Keanu Reeves or something, didn't he?
Yeah, we were right up there. I don't know if Keanu Reeves is past us now, but
Okay.
we were up there.
Yep.
Let's see here. What's your longest burnout?
Remember,
Plow
statute of limitations, if it was past 10 years, it's okay.
Yeah.
So, I gotta say,
I remember your longest burnout. I was
was
at
that?
your place, and you were pulling out of the driveway, and you had your black truck,
that's right.
and you just spun it and went probably halfway down the highway, and I was just shaking my head at you. Secretly think, man, that's cool. But it's like,
So yeah, I forgot that because you say burnout, and I think like muscle car, and I'm like, I really didn't have that many nice cars growing up because I was smart with my money and bought my house pretty early. When you're house poor, you don't have much for tires, right? But a lot of the trucks I did, because I worked at the shop, I would take tires like a matching set when customers came in that still had like 30% tread on them. Like, okay, well, those are mine. So I'd burn off sets and weekends, whatever. But yeah, I've done a good 100 feet anyway. But that's a brake torque. That's a brake stand.
now, I also know Richard's longest donut he's ever done too at a racetrack. I'm not going to say which racetrack, but we were lucky enough to have the entire complex to ourselves on this particular day because it was a holiday and it wasn't great weather.
Oh,
And we got to the straightaway.
that's
and
the
you were
Toronto
just
Motorsports Park.
Again, I'm not going to say which track, but from a distance you could just see smoke rings billowing up.
So we had a 240. Hoogie had a 240. Great little car, and the deal was that if I kept it running, then I was allowed to drive it, right? So yeah.
Yeah, just for a $2,000 car, we just beat the living hell out of this thing. The very last lap that we took that car on, we blew all 4 tires, cracked 2 rims, blew the brakes, blew the exhaust, and blew the tranny.
It was, yeah.
And then that week, I sold that car to another kid for $2,000.
But the first day we took it was
Thanksgiving.
It was Easter Sunday. It was Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
And we were the only ones on the track, so the guy watching us was just watching us, and then we let the car cool down for a sec, so he left, and then we started driving again. So in the middle of the straightaway, we just started doing donuts. So, and there's all those track marks are still there because when do you actually do donuts in the middle of the straightaway? Like you do it in the corners and that, but those are still our rubber marks there. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun.
And Rich and I, we were talking a little while ago, a couple weeks, if you guys have seen it, we were racing some Ferraris out at Toronto Motorsports Park. And we got to talking that, we really miss getting out there and doing the racing and everything. So there is a potential right now that there is going to be a track car coming up in the future, possibly on an RX-8 platform with an LS with upgraded brakes and suspension. I may have been thinking this through a little bit, but it may be coming. Should be pretty cool.
So the GTO needs to be sold first to finance this one, but
Yeah, I'm always three projects ahead of myself.
me too, and about 3 years ahead of myself too. Yeah.
I'm gonna get to Tommy now. Sorry, I missed your comment earlier. Has a 2004 Chevy Silverado 2500 6.0. Gas. How much would it cost to put in a Cummins?
Depends if you're in the States or Canada, but you're looking at probably about 10 grand. Figure 10 grand to do a nice clean swap. So there's a lot of stuff that you don't think about. It's the Cummins, getting the Cummins in the first place. The adapter plate and flywheel are looking at about $1,500 US. Transmission controller is about $600. It takes you about 50, 60, 70 hours to put it in. And then all your fluids and hoses and alignment and new air box, air filter, all that fun stuff, you're looking roughly 10 grand. That's just a nice, so you can do it yourself, and you can do it weekends, you can probably do it for 5 grand, but count on a minimum budget of 5 grand, and if you want a really nice, reseal the Cummins, paint it, all that stuff, it all adds up fast. So.
Yeah, and check out our video, if you haven't already, check out our video on this. It's literally called, how much is a Cummins swap?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
What is
And
it
can I do it or whatever?
Yeah,
How much does a Cummins swap cost, and how much does it?
Yeah,
whatever
Google it will come up.
whatever exhaust was hanging on that, I think we poked a nice big hole in it that it didn't sound the same as when we started the race anyway. So.
Oh no! Well, that car, it was not a good car to start. It had over 225,000 clicks when we got it, and the entire time we had it, we put 2,000 kilometers on it, which would have been the equivalent of 100,000 clicks the way we drove.
Right, it was all track, so
yeah.
Let's see here. We got any more questions? If you got more questions, leave a comment.
Yep.
We're not drinking rum right now.
We're actually this happy all the time, and it's kind of a nice life that we get to laugh like we do. We used to drink when we were younger, but I find that I crack a beer in the shop, and then it's like, oh, okay, I'm working, it's late at night, I should have a beer because it's the right thing to do. I could really go for a beer. I have like 2 sips. I'm like, oh, it's so good. Then I put the beer down because I forget about it because I want to go back to work. And then the next day I find like an almost full beer. I'm like, well, that was stupid. So, poker nights, Wednesday nights, we have poker night in the shop. And we always have a few beers then. It's a social thing. But as for rum and coke, no, we're dry. He didn't even make us a coffee.
I know, I was going to, but we just ran out of time.
You're like Aaron, the young Aaron in the shop. Well, I was gonna do that.
He's not getting you Tim Hortons now? Oh,
No, not Tim Hortons. We just make a coffee. Put a pot of coffee on.
Let's see here. How do you even blow the exhaust off?
Yeah, we answered that.
Oh,
it was pretty well on its way out. Whatever back pressure was in the muffler, it ended
we
up
just bought
blowing
a car
up
that was
whatever.
rough already because we didn't care. We wanted to have fun and not worry about getting scratched.
Probably squirrels in the muffler, and then clogging it a little bit, and us tromping on it, poked a hole in wherever the rust was sitting.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Cummins 12 valve at DSS? No.
DSS, Dunnville Secondary School.
Oh.
I drive by. I know I see the Duramax there. There's a black Duramax there. Don't know which 12 valve you mean.
Send us a photo. Put it on Drive Tribe.
Yeah.
Did you ever meet the speed
Are you a student at DSS? Because otherwise, I can pull in one time too, show you guys the Tahoe or something, or if it's not Peter's anymore.
I know that truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Belongs to my coworker's son.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go. Ever meet the Speed Academy guys out at the track? No.
We haven't really gone to the track much. It was only the.
It was only the test driving.
Yeah. So we're talking with another website, exhausted.ca, who has ins with the Dunnville track. Dunnville used to have its own racetrack, but they put up windmills and they shut it down because of noise.
Yeah,
We used to
it's
love
still
that
all
track.
there. It's just not for public use.
And somebody just repaved it, and I know that they were doing military training exercises and stuff there.
and
Somehow.
Canada's Worst Driver's been filmed there for like the last 5 years.
Yeah, so hopefully if the channel takes off, we can have like a thrash day there, rent the track for the day, and just kind of have races between the projects and I don't know, tug of wars, something stupid like that. Put the Silverado against the Cummins dually.
Yeah. T. Barrington's RT in Welland. So yeah. It's been around.
Oh
RT
yeah,
Baker.
yep. So he drives that thing everywhere. So he actually has a food truck now in Welland. So he parks the truck out front, and he goes, great advertising. People come just for the truck, and then he sells them a burger while they're there, right?
Nice.
So yeah, he was gonna cater the open house, but then he ended up catering a wedding that weekend. But RT Baker's been in wedding. He's been in weddings already, engagement pictures. So it turns a lot.
We need to
of
get
heads.
these. Where are these?
Yeah, one of those things. Oh, I'll send them to you. I'll send them to you. Never get them right. But I'm really happy with that build. And I was actually disappointed about RT because it really didn't get the attention that I think it should have. Like, I was really happy with the gauges and stuff like that. Kind of ran out of money towards the
we
end.
were a pretty small channel. We're still a small channel, but
if you have joined the channels since then, and you don't know what RT Baker is, it's 49 or 46 or 52.
52.
Okay, we'll call it 52.
Officially, it's a 52.
Right, because that was
What is registered as right now?
So it's a 52 2R6 Studebaker truck sitting on an 02 Dodge Dakota with the 360 Magnum in it. But what made that, again, it was kind of a budget build, but it was actually the wiring harness off a V6 with a V8 under the hood, and somehow the thing ran. And then I got all the factory Studebaker gauges to work with the ECU from the Dodge. So nothing bad to say about Dodge for that, because I could not believe that I turned the key and it fired up the first time. So that was a lot of fun. And then we ended up driving that one to Michigan, hoping to have a Roadkill episode. And
check out the Roadkill series.
Yeah. Actually, that's the best view of that truck. And I was hoping it was going to break, but it kind of did flawless. Drove there and drove back. Although it didn't have reverse. and
It doesn't have reverse, right?
So he thrashes on this thing non-stop. So he literally just like 2 positions for that pedal, and it's both on the floor. So I told him too, it's like, you've got a really old truck sitting on a not so old truck, but they're still old, so it's like, it's not new. But he lost reverse, and he's like, whatever, I'll just keep driving it. So I don't know whether he's fixing that this winter or not, but
Have you ever been pulled over?
I've been pulled over in my S10 because we just watched Gone in 60 Seconds. And the cop thought I stole my truck because that's the way I was driving it, and talked myself out of that one. I got pulled over in my sister's Dodge Shadow because
That's just embarrassing.
Yeah, I was speeding and I was ticked because it failed the E-test, and I gave her the car and it sat for a while and the brakes were seized and I was just in a bad mood. I talked myself out of that one. What? And then I just got pulled over because my stickers were expired with the Tahoe coming back from the cottage, but talked myself out of that one. And then the only ticket I ever got was expired plates with the Silverado, which was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was visiting one of the guys that I worked with in the shop that was struggling with addictions. And I meant to visit him for a long time already, and then I didn't go see him. So if I would have actually went to the plate was expired by like a week. So if I would have went when I was supposed to go, I wouldn't have gotten the ticket. But
I drive a Mazda 6 station wagon now. You never get pulled over. It's camouflage. Between that and minivans, you just go invisible.
Yeah. I gotta watch the LS because we gotta find some back streets for that one, the Mercedes.
Yeah.
So, I think we're gonna have to head home soon too.
Yeah. Okay. We'll do this for like another 5 minutes and just kind of answer the rest of these questions here. Still gotta talk about coming up with plans on doing the track day. So, are you able to take?
Oh yeah, Nancy. Nancy's still watching? Why are you still watching, hon? Yeah, that's right. The Speedo was off in the Sonoma. I got 104 and an 80. So I had a little white four-wheel drive Sonoma too, yeah. That's right.
It's a quality wife for tuning.
Yeah.
Are you able to take on all the work that comes into your shop, or you have to turn some away?
I turn some away, pick and choose. So, is that me? Look at that.
Oh. What's that?
That's Tahoe. I was just hit my keys.
One last question from Peter Thompson.
Yeah.
Is it possible to put an exhaust brake on a 4BT with the dirt bike trailer full of gear, fuel, tools, bikes, and water to wash the bike? She pushes pretty good. So,
I don't think they make one for a 4BT. They make them for the 6BT, but it wouldn't work because of the extra 2 cylinders. So, but I will actually look into that because that would be pretty unique. So, how to make a 4BT even louder and more annoying is put an exhaust brake on it. But Nancy, you'd love it, right? And then to have her, flick the switch and not tell her what's actually happening, let her drive to town and with the exhaust brake on.
Take that. What's the complications with putting an old 12 valve in a newer vehicle like an F-250? Form says it's registered as a hot rod, not modified.
So you can't modify anything after 2000. It has to pass the emissions for what it was in there. In Ontario. So you can't really take. Ford doesn't let you get into the ECU, like the GM does mainly because of the LS swaps. So you've got engine lights on, and you won't pass because the emissions for a gas vehicle is still OBD. If it already had a diesel in it and the engine lights on, that's not a big deal, because if it's under, and I knew the weight, I think it's 3,600 kilograms. I found out for a guy and then I forget again, but I think if it's under 3,600 kilograms, it's just a visual test. It's not even an actual test. So you can take it into a drive clean facility. It's $35. They run the car for 5 minutes and they look at the smoke that comes out. And if you go to the right shop, they don't even have the vehicle running. You chat for 5 minutes and then you go home. No complications whatsoever. But that's only for like a regular cab, 2-wheel drive, long box, short box. Anything above that, you're going to be into the heavier weight class. But then you can get the heavy duty emission test, which unfortunately is like $135, but it's just a sniff test and you can pass it that way.
How is the AMG with the LS and they're going to
So the AMG is from Japan, and it has its own different regulations because it's from outside the country. Mm-hmm. So there is no test port to actually plug in. The test port is completely different. It's Japan standards. So theirs is a sniff test. So you put something in the tailpipe and it has to measure the carbon monoxide and the NOx through the tailpipe, and you can tune the computer to do whatever you want. So as long as you don't have an outrageous cam in there, you pass okay.
Cool.
So yeah.
All right. How close are we getting the AMG wagon riding?
Still a couple weeks away, a few weeks away probably. Basically my timeline for that is to have it ready for spring, along with the Fleet Master and the GTO and the Silverado and everything else. I'm getting kind of stressed about springtime actually. Yeah. But I finished the barbecue. That's good, huh?
Yeah.
It's good barbecue.
That was a 7-year project, all in time. These things, again, it's my first one, so it's taking my time with it, making sure that if there's one thing I hate is doing things twice. So I really doing all the homework and Googling behind the computer and stuff, watching TV and trying to figure out what to do and how to not do it twice, make it work right the first time, and in doing so, that does take a lot of time, buying not all the parts all at once, because you make sure, oh crap, those injectors don't work with those that wiring harness type of stuff, and oops, I did that wrong. And I hate having, if it's inventory that I bought that I can't bring back, or I have to pay the shipping or that, I lose my profit pretty quick. So in doing so, it takes a long time. So
I think we've got we just got another question. We got like 4 questions left here.
Okay.
I think that's all we'll answer.
Okay.
No more questions.
No more questions. Thinking about doing an engine delete on my 05 Ford 6.0. We kind of answered this one.
Like an engine delete? You just want to take the engine out? I don't know, I guess.
Knock yourself out.
Put a comment in it.
So we're doing a 2003 Duramax in the shop right now, and GM I think was somewhere around $5,000. It's not cheap. It's about 30 hours of labor. It sucks no matter how you do it. They're aluminum heads, so you got to do the heads anyway. If you're gonna stud it, you're looking at $1,000 in parts between gaskets and studs and all that. So $1,000 for that. 30 hours of labor plus the cost of machining the heads and the valves. You're probably looking at $3,000 minimum. Probably somewhere to the $3,000 and $4,000 mark.
Yeah.
So.
Cost to do head gaskets on 02 LB7.
That's what I just answered, man.
Oh,
Pay
okay,
attention.
sorry.
Stay with me.
Alright, yeah. What do you think about the new 2.8 Cummins crate engine?
Yeah, that one's really intrigued me, and we're trying to reach out to Cummins to see if they'll help us out so we can do something with it. But
yeah, I think they're listed now $7,000.
Yeah, they're $7,000. So
probably American dollars.
probably so 10 by the time we get it, which is fine. Not a bad price for a brand new engine with plug and play, as they say. But I don't know enough about it really. I've seen the dirt everyday things, and a little disappointed about the mileage. Honestly, it wasn't like spectacular. Oh man, that thing uses half the fuel that the gas Jeeps did. But cool engine. I'd like to get my hands on at one point, and I can't say anything for sure because I haven't seen it firsthand, right? So I know as much as you do.
See if we can at least try to look at one.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm sure there'd be one at the auto show or something somewhere, but nobody cares about Canada. So we're thinking about going to a dirt bike show for Aaron more.
Yeah,
and
that's coming up.
we don't want to do another car show for a while, and then we'll do a heavy equipment show or like an agricultural show or something like that. That'll be more fun. So.
What do you think about the 5.0 Cummins Titan?
What do you think about Nissans, current Nissans, Nissan trucks? Nissan?
So
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, we've had some bad luck with Nissans, and that was the Murano, the video where we swapped the engine, and unfortunately that was a giant money pit, and it was Hoogie's that
It was his Murano.
And that was my mistake. Never buy a Murano. I say never buy any new Nissans.
No.
They're cheap and they fall apart and they're over-engineered.
I think the 5.0 is an overpriced half-ton truck because it's still not a full-size truck. The tow rating is not really what you expect for a I don't know, full diesel. So I don't know. That's kind of my opinion. Is it's just too expensive of a truck that's not really a full-size all out pull truck.
Yeah.
So
watch the test drive. What is it? The should I trade in my Tahoe for an eco diesel?
Yeah, but again, that's a salesman for a Dodge, right? So he's got to put Nissan down. I think he was biased.
3 last questions here. Have you seen Puglife? Yes. The Fummins? Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Seen it.
Yeah, we've seen it. We'll stick with that. we were humming and hawing about building one for him, but he went out and bought one.
Yeah,
instead.
he asked us if we would rebuild it, but but he didn't want to do that. So
no, so he went out and bought one. It was great.
Explosions.
Yep.
And when's the next open house?
Yeah,
so,
we haven't got that far. September was a good time, I think.
Yeah.
Basically, last time we just said, how far back can we push it? Just to get some of our projects
bring
done.
The cars out.
Right, and it sucked because no snow, but it'd be raining. Good chance for rain.
And we're thinking about just getting a track, so that we're talking about doing a track day.
Yeah.
Possibly instead. Who knows?
Yeah, but we'll see where we are a couple months from now and how much cash flow is coming in. Really, there's not a whole lot yet. So we're not, I honestly, I think one more day at our place with some moderate amount of people, it worked out good last time. Yeah, we had like 50 people last time. We can hold up to about double that, and then after that a track day. But we need some more income for that first. So. And then there's all liabilities and all that stuff in there too yet. So. Yep. I think that's it.
All right. Okay.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks.
And Happy New Year. And we got what video's coming up next? Plow Truck?
Plow Truck's coming up next as far as projects go. This Sunday will be a new channel trailer.
Okay.
If everything goes to plan.
Okay.
So we're working on that, and that'll be something that you'll want to check it out and share it to let people know about the channel. And
the plow truck would be a good video. Not really just how to. That was just Stefan who gave me in the shop. Were you there? No, you missed out. He got a girlfriend and he disappeared. Aaron was there for a bit, and then young Aaron and me put it back together again. But that was just more of an entertaining video rather than an informative video.
Yeah, but everybody was there, which was cool.
Yeah.
Rick came out for that.
Oh,
so
that's right.
Rick
That's right.
That one.
Yeah, that's right.
And Stefan and Aaron was there, so.
Yeah.
So,
In my defense, my girlfriend is really good looking.
yes, we all understand why. We
all get there, all men fall.
Yeah. So, no, hi, Kristen. We're glad that you take him away from us once in a while. Is she still watching?
Probably not.
Oh,
She's
probably not.
too dead looking at her.
Yeah. I bet Nancy's still watching. Nancy, you type hello. See you guys.
See you guys.